today I wanted to talk about, really being intentional with your goals, because I've spent the last 3 weeks overseas, and I want you to know that this was not something that just kind of came up. Back in 2018, I went to the Dance Life Teacher Conference in America. It was in Phoenix that year. I went with one of my teachers, Miss Ange, and when we were there, I set an intention that when I returned to the conference, I wanted to not just be a delegate attending, but I wanted to be a speaker. And here we are in 2022, and a lot has happened in between that time. But I found myself in a position in the last 3 weeks with Miss Ange with me on the other side of the world, where I had been flown over and put up in a fancy hotel to go and do exactly that and to do what I love. And I had this really big kind of pinch me moment, because when I got home from the conference in 2018, I put that as part of my clarity manifesto that's up on my wall that I like to say every day. It's a bunch of affirmations. And so it said, I will speak from stage at the Dance Life Teacher Conference. And when that actually happened, it was really cool. It was a real pinch me moment. But it wasn't only just that. There was so much more to that. And in setting that one little intention and that one goal, I then manifested this whole fabulous 3-week trip. Not only did I get to go to Connecticut to speak at the Dance Life Teacher Conference and meet so many incredible, smart, just fabulous, clever women as part of that event. And that's, on the faculty side and also on the delegate side, I met so many incredible people. But then I also got the opportunity to go to Nashville and to speak at a completely different conference with equally as smart and clever and intelligent and fabulous people with such great energy. And Nashville, if you haven't been to Nashville, you've got to put it on your bucket list, because that place, in terms of energy and in terms of, where you want to be, is the place to be. I absolutely loved it. So I found myself in this situation where I had been flown to the other side of the world to do exactly what I loved, exactly how I had written it as part of my goals and intentions. And yes, it took a couple of years, and it took a lot of hard work in between, a lot of getting up at 2:00 in the morning and, doing little presentations and proving that this was something that I could do, and putting in the extra effort and building relationships and communication. It wasn't just something that I went, put it up on the vision board and then clicked my fingers and it happened. There's been a lot of work in between, but I did have this very big kind of pinch me moment. And it made me think, if you are listening and you are growing and building a business, or perhaps you are just looking for ways in which to get more time for yourself so that you can create this lifestyle that you desire, then perhaps today is the perfect day to start. Because I think sometimes we just get on the hamster wheel and we just move through life and keep moving forward. And we're trying to get everything done on our to-do list and trying to be a great mom and a great partner and a great boss and a great leader and all of these things. But we don't actually stop and take a moment to really set our intention for what we want to achieve in the future. And as I said, that can be something as big as you want to, travel the world and speak from stage, but it also can be, I want to only work 4 days a week. It can be, I want to have, more time one-on-one with my children. It can be, I want to go away once a month with my spouse. These goals and these intentions, unless we are really intentional with them and actually plan what we're going to do and how it's going to work, then, the time disappears. And I could have easily just kind of said that on a whim in 2018 and could be here in 2022 and nothing could have happened. And, good things could have happened along the way, but I wouldn't have had this moment of like, oh, wow, I put that down, I wrote it down, I said it over and over, and look what happened. And I want you to be able to have that experience for yourself. So I want you to pick one thing, or two or three, but probably no more than three, that you would like to achieve in the next couple of years, something that you would like to do, something that you would like to get done, something that you would like to make as part of your world. And I want you to write it down. It's not just enough to think it. You actually have to put pen to paper. Once you've put pen to paper, I want you to stick that somewhere where you can see it, whether it's, on the mirror where you clean your teeth in the morning, whether it's in the shower, whether it's beside your bed. Put it somewhere where you can see it. Perhaps it's, on the side of the door as you're walking out the door, but put it somewhere where you can see it and be intentional with what that thing is for you. And as I said, it can be any kind of intention or goal, but be very specific about what you want. If I had just said, I want to go overseas and speak, then the moment wouldn't have been as rich. And it was rich because I was really specific about it. So be specific with what you are going to choose for yourself and for your world, because I really do want you to be able to have that experience of being able to have that goal, that intention, setting that for yourself and then moving towards that. And in saying that, let me tell you about all the fabulous things I got to do while I was away, because I know that you're dying to hear. And I could see you rolling your eyes in your car going, we saw it all on Instagram, Stacey. We don't need to relive it again. But in case you missed it, in case you missed the highlight reel on my Instagram while I was away for 3 weeks, I took a fabulous group of dance teachers over to New York. Some of them had not been to New York before, so we got to experience the hustle and bustle of my favorite part of the world. And we got to see Broadway shows. We saw MJ the musical. We saw A Strange Loop, which won the Tony this year for Best Musical. We got to take class. I did the Broadway Teachers Workshop, which was intensive teachers program, like designed for people like me. Essentially, it was like it had my name written all over it. So I kind of got to go back to school and do some learning. Then we went to the conference, which is of course 3 days of learning, 3 days of intensive learning, and it's intensive. It starts at 7:30 in the morning, and the last thing finishes at 10 o'clock at night. And then, of course, you want to socialize. So then you want to actually catch up with the people that you've been sitting next to in class all day and actually see how they're going and touch base with them. There were so many people that I hadn't seen since the pandemic. And so that was just so lovely to be able to catch up with everybody and actually sit down and have a conversation in real life. And, it was just heaven. So the conference was really great and really just awesome. And I was so grateful to be included in that faculty. And then we went back to New York and got to spend a little bit of time seeing some more shows, which of course I love. I got to catch up with some friends, which was, always cup filling, those people that energize you that you don't perhaps get to see for a long time. But when you do see them, it's just like you saw them yesterday. And then we flew to Nashville, and that was really exciting because I had Miss Christie and Miss Ange with me from my team. We got to go to Nashville together. We'd never been to Nashville. I got to buy boots and a cowboy hat. I ran into my podcast super fan, Callie, Callie, if you're out there listening, thank you so much for being such a fan of the podcast and for letting me know when I got to see you in Nashville. That was really special to me. And so I got to share again for 2 whole days with dance teachers from all over the country and just really be able to relay not just the things that work in my studio and the things that work in terms of my leadership, but the mistakes that I've made and the challenges that I've come up against and the things that haven't worked, in the hope that those things, being shared with other people means that they don't have to make the same mistakes that I have made in business. And then on the way home, we had a 12-hour layover in California. And so we hopped an Uber and took ourselves out to Six Flags Magic Mountain and rode roller coasters all day. And then in the heat, and it was like 38 degrees or something. It was hot. It was too hot. We should have taken our dogs and gone to the water park. That would have been a smarter idea. But instead we rode these crazy, stand-up roller coasters and lay down roller coasters and, flip backwards roller coasters, the ones where you can sit in the chair and the chair actually rotates 360. Yeah. It was a lot. And then, of course, the flight home and straight back into things when we got home. So if you missed out, go check out some of the reels on my Instagram. But it was a really good time. And the joy of being able to share that with my team, but also the joy of knowing that I'd worked really hard for this time for such a long time, and that then I got to reap the rewards of that was really, really special. So what is going to be your goal or intention you are going to set? What is going to be the one thing you are going to write down and put somewhere where you can see it and, really be specific about that goal and be specific about working towards that goal in the next little while? I would love to hear what yours is. Please post on your Insta story or send me a DM. I'm at Simply Stacey Morgan on Instagram. Of course, if you can leave us a rating or review for the podcast, that would be fabulous. We are back and we will be feeding out weekly episodes from this point onwards. And I so appreciate you listening. I so appreciate those of you who stopped me and told me that you listened to the podcast. Lance, a big shout out to you, who told me that you listened to me in the shower because quite often your wife is getting ready for the day, listening to the podcast in the bathroom, and you're in the shower. And so when you heard my voice in real life, you were like, hang on, hey, I know you. That was such a highlight of my trip. Thanks, Lance. And to those of you who stopped me and let me know that the information that you get from the podcast is valuable, thank you so much to you as well. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next week.